guys, welcome back to the foundation course on the piano. I am Sanjay Aris, a pianist and composer, and your teacher for this course. In the first module, we have understood a lot of important things. We learned about the layout of the piano, we understood what a chromatic scale is, we understood all the 12 basic notes of music, we learned what a major scale is. We derived our first major scale, that is the C major scale. We learned the correct fingering. We also learned the G major scale. We learned the D major scale. And I gave you an assignment to derive the A major scale. Let me just tell you the notes of A major scale. It's A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. And the fingering remains the same. And then we had also learned a beautiful song, Where You Had a Little Lamb. I talked a little about harmony and we structured some basic harmony for this song. We also learned transposing, where we shifted this song from one scale to another. I'm sure you have done the assignment of transposing Mary Had a Little Lamb to A major scale also. I cannot wait to check all your assignments. Alright guys, in this module, in the second module, we are going to learn an important skill, that is sight reading. We are going to understand the notations in music. We are going to understand the universal language of music script. I'm sure you have seen all those fancy symbols when you see anything that's related to music. So we are going to learn all these symbols and we will know how to read sheet music. But before that, in this episode, I want to talk about time. How does time work in music? Alright, let's try to understand time in music. First things first. The first concept of time in music is tempo. So what is tempo? Tempo traveler, the lorry? No. Tempo refers to how fast or how slow. It is the basic definition for a song or a piece. It defines how fast or how slow the piece is. These days, we measure this in terms of numbers. But earlier, they didn't measure tempo in terms of numbers. They measure tempo in terms of feeling. They used Italian words like andante, allegro, allegretto, largo, presto to define the speed in music. So what is andante? Andante in Italian means walking pace. What is allegro? Allegro is running pace. What is largo? Largo is like a snail, it's like crawling. And what is presto? Presto is sprinting, it's super fast. But then a beautiful tool called metronome was invented. So what is a metronome? I'm sure you have seen this. It's a triangular equipment with a stick, and if you give a key, it starts doing tuck, 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 tuck. It helps you keep the basic pulse, and you can change the speed of this pulse. Now, every modern keyboard these days, and also you have a lot of apps on your phone called metronome, of course, and every keyboard these days has the tool of metronome. Let me just show you how a metronome sounds. See? It's just a constant pulse. Okay? And I can change the speed of this pulse if I want. So this pulse is very important to keep speed in music. So metronome is a tool that helps you to keep the basic pulse. Now, how do you measure in terms of numbers? That's where the concept of BPM comes into play. BPM refers to beats per minute. and you can set this metronome to different beats per minute. You can set the metronome to 60 BPM, 80 BPM, 100 BPM, 55 BPM, 200 BPM. Where else is BPM used? Do you guys remember? Yes, it's used by doctors to measure the pulse of your heart. It's generally 72 to 73 BPM. It means the heart beats 72 times in a minute. The same unit is used in music also. Now, let me talk about 60 BPM, because you guys are gonna stay at 60 BPM for a long time. We are going to explore a lot in 60 BPM. So, let me set the metronome to 60 BPM. What you hear now, this regular pulse, it's going at 60 BPM. If not for the metronome, how can you track or how can you hold 60 BPM? It's very easy. 60 BPM means 60 beats per minute. And how many seconds in a minute? Correct, of course, very basic question, 60. 60 seconds in 1 minute. Hence, one tap for every second. So you look at your watch or a clock, and along with the second needle, you just, tap or clap or make some sound. Ta, la, 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 la. This speed is basically 60 BPM. I'm just clapping or tapping for every second. It is a very important skill for any musician to hold tempo. So I kindly request you to take out some time and have some fun trying to keep this pace. Just look at your clock and try to tap along with it. Alright? You have to be very synchronized with the clock. Let's see how tight your tempo is. Alright guys, now this is the concept of tempo. Very fine. We got a regular pulse which is going at, let's say, 60 BPM. What next? What can we do with this? Now this is the concept of time signatures. So you take this constant pulse that is going infinitely and you group them. You group them into smaller units. Alright? And you can group them in different configurations. You can group 4 beats into 1 unit. You can group 3 beats into 1 unit. You can group 2 beats into 1 unit. So this grouping is called time signature. The very basic time signature or the very first time signature that we are going to learn is the 4/4. 4/4 is also called common time because it's that common. A lot of your contemporary songs, a lot of your basic songs, and a lot of Western classical songs is in 4/4. So what is 4/4? 4/4 refers to grouping 4 of these pulses into 1 unit, which we call a bar. So if there are 4 beats in a bar, it is called 4/4. And what do you do? How do you show 4/4? The first beat is strong and the other 3 beats are light. This helps you to distinguish the starting of a bar. So, in 60 BPM, if I set the metronome to 4/4, it is going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first beat is strong and the other beats are light. Overall, the pulse is going in 60 BPM, but you are grouping it into 4s. This is what I want you guys to learn from this class. You should know how to count or clap 4/4 at 60 BPM. So use your mobile app or use the metronome on your keyboard or explore how to set 60 BPM on your keyboard And then in this metronome, you have to count 4 evenly in a synchronized manner. And the first beat should be strong. 1, 2, 3, 4. And other 3 beats are lighter. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Guys, this is also a question in your Trinity piano exams. They will ask you how to clap 4/4, and this is what you're going to show them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now I have a trick question. Instead of grouping 4, what if I had group 3? What if it was 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. Then the time signature would be called 3/4. And if I had grouped 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, the time signature would be called 2/4. And I'm sure you can observe the feel itself is changing if I change the time signature. Let me demonstrate. First, if it is 4/4, it feels like this. The groove feels like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I make it 3/4, the groove changes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do you see? The rhythm, the feel is changing. If I make it 2/4, it's even different. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So the time signature defines the feel of the song. So if some of this is going over your head, don't worry. The only thing that you have to understand is how to set metronome mainly to 60 BPM, because in your early days you are gonna stay between 60 to 100 BPM a lot. So explore your keyboard and understand how to set BPM at different speeds, that is 60, 70, 80, 100. Alright, first of all you have to understand how to keep metronome at 60 BPM and how to synchronize yourself to match 60 BPM. The second thing that you have to know is how to clap 4/4, or how to divide this 60 BPM into a time signature of 4/4. If you can do this, the next step is putting notes into this template. Now what we have created is a blank template. We have a lot of bars, a lot of empty bars with 4 taps each, and the entire piece is going at a speed of 60. It's a blank template like this. Now we have to fill notes into this template. How did I fill these notes? That is the concept of note values. And in the next class, I'm going to take you through all the note values in music, and we are also going to understand how to squeeze in a scale in different kinds of note values into a given tempo.